Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back again this week from the comic shop. It was a pretty small week for me. Only 3 comics, plus this Image Plus magazine. Winnebago Graveyard, Image at 25. Divided States of Hysteria, Bitch Planet. You all know Image Plus by now. It's their preview magazine with lots of pictures. Oh, even a centerfold in this one. Kid Savage, Joe Kelly and Ilya. Is there more Walking Dead? Here's Negan, part 12. You get 4 pages of Walking Dead in the back. But I enjoy this magazine every month for, what is it, $1.99? Wasn't it cheaper than that just recently? Yeah, I can't even remember. Oh, some new Howard Chaykin coming out. This is going to go on my pull list because at the Big Apple Con, I had an opportunity to hang out with Howard Chaykin for a while, and he's a funny guy. He's got the reputation of being a bit of a cut up and ball breaker, and he is, but he's funny. He's good natured about it, except when except people he doesn't like. That's a whole other stuff. But if you ever get a chance to hang out with Howard Chaykin, you should do it. And next we have Outkast, issue number 26. Wow, everything's 26 or 27 this week. If you remember, one of the things I've said about Outkast is that it was different because these 2 guys were up against their demon foes or whatever they are, and they had no guide. There was no, wise wizard to tell them what was going on. Well, it looks like we've got our wise wizard in issue number 26, because at the end of 2 issues ago, our lead character, whose name I cannot remember. It's funny because with all these books where everybody just got normal names, I can't remember their names from month to month. But his father showed up, and his father seems to have some of the same powers that our lead character here has, except he knew how to use them. So I'm guessing we'll now have some guidance in this book, but we'll see how issue 26 works out. And Lazarus is back with its issue number 26. This has been on hiatus for a while. Boy, what happened? Last we knew our Lazarus Forever. See, when your name's Forever, I can remember it. Was recovering from injuries, and a couple of the other Lazaruses, was Sonia Bittner, I think that was her. Wow, I remember the name, and some others were fighting this. They're now in a shooting war after like issue 20. The politics devolved into a shooting war, and they were over in Europe conquering territory of one of our families here. This is a world where families run different parts of the U.S. and different parts of Europe. And there's also a Lil Forever, who the Big Forever doesn't know about. We're learning some of the secrets of this book, and a Forever might be some sort of... Well, we know she's been genetically manipulated to be their superhero type. They're not really superheroes, but they got powers and endurance. They can't shoot mind blasts or anything like that, but they're strong, fast, and tough, and learn how to fight, so... All the secrets of Lazarus have not been revealed quite yet, and I'm looking forward to this issue. And our final issue of the week is a number 27 to go along with our 26s. It's Deadly Class, Remender, Craig, and Bold. And I have to say, this comic is going to have to win me back after the last issue. This comic has been one of my favorites since the beginning. I've really enjoyed it, but then last issue just kind of did something that they basically took the fear of death out of the book. So it's kind of like when a book's about life and death and you remove death, it becomes another comic book. It becomes a Marvel comic, a DC comic, where characters die and come back with regularity. And that kind of kills the drama for me. But, we'll see if they can get me back with this issue, Remender, Craig, and Boyd. Because, issue 26 of this was really a letdown for me. So we'll have to see how this one goes. And finally, we're going to give you a little look at my background art, and you're going, what the heck is that? Batman the Hulk? Well, I decided to dip into the Wayback Machine and show you how we used to practice our inks back in 1990 or 1991. When you're learning how to do art and you're learning how to do comic books, you want to learn how to ink comic books. So the first thing you have to do is get yourself some of this, a pad of, you see mine's old and battered, I don't use it anymore, vellum, which is a type of thick tracing paper. And then of course the next thing you need are professional pencils, which since I was working in the Marvel bullpen in the early 90s, I could get. So that's what you do. These are Dale Keown Hulk pencils from Hulk, what is it, 371, page 5, just a Xerox of them. Nice photocopy. And then you lay the sheet of vellum over it and ink away with brush. This is all done with brush. So you can see I didn't stray too far from the pencils because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was learning. And Dale Keown's pencils are very, very tight. So it's just kind of like figuring out what I was doing there. And let's see. Whoops, that's not going back up there. We'll have to throw it down here. And then we've got, this is actually, someone must have, you can see how I do it here. I would also tape the pencils down. This is a piece of 4 paste up only Bristol board. And so it would make it easier if I would tape that down to the board and then ink over it. I knew that one was going to fall. But these are actually Art Adams pencils. You can see I'd also tape the pencils down and then hinge tape that right over top of it. So if I wanted a closer look, I could flip it up and see. These must have been lying around for a while, or I think I must have traded someone for these, because I was just looking up what this is from. And it's from Action Comics Annual #1 from 1987, which was 3 or 4 years before I did these practice inks. Print Memorial type. You never want to ink. Nowadays you'd never hand draw that type. I'm tired. And those little X's mean that's where the penciler indicates he wants the inker to put in black. So there we go, a little Art Adams practice. And the last one, let's see, what was this? I've got about 40 or 50 of these practice pages. This is Jim Lee X-Men. So there's some and you can see this is where the letterer would do the lettering right over. The letterer would also do the lettering on a sheet of vellum, and then it would come back to us, and we in the bullpen would paste the vellum down to the original art. So they'd send the letterer photocopies of the pencils, and he'd letter right over them on vellum, and I'd do my practice inks right over them on vellum. And these inks, these took a long time to do. Whoops, there's that woman. I would say when I was doing this back in 1991, 92, whenever I was doing it, it would take me a good 6-7 hours to do one of these pages. It was slow sledding. I was learning how to use a brush and learning how to, like I said, once again, you can see I didn't stray far from his tight pencils because I didn't even know how to stray far at that time. But there you go. That's how you... Nowadays, you'd get yourself some pencils, which you can probably find on the internet real easily, and print them out in blue line and ink over the blue line. It's sort of an easier process, because working over this vellum, let me especially show you this, especially when you put a lot of black down on it, you can see how wavy it gets. I don't know if you can catch that, how wavy that paper gets when the black on it. That always made it a little tough. There you go. There's a good shot of the waviness. That's just the ink drying on the paper makes it wavy. So that could be a bit of a problem. It's a little easier these days with blue line, but and the internet. I mean, the only place you would get photocopies of pencils was you had to work in the office or you had to know a professional artist. These days, there's pencil work out there everywhere. You can always find a professional's pencils to work over. So the internet was good for that. But anyway, I hope you liked the little Wayback Machine look at some early 90s practice inks. And you guys have a good week out there.